Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and another video. So I have another human being who I do their nails. I know, I feel like it's crazy because I talk about having people that I do their nails, and I think I mentioned this one other time, but I feel like I'm always afraid no one's gonna actually believe me because most of the time I'm doing my own nails. Well, I feel a little embarrassed, I guess, to ask the people that I do nails for, like, hey, can I film you for YouTube? I don't know. I haven't quite gotten my footing yet with it, so, but this is my friend Ashley. So she is one of my 3-weekers. She gets a natural nail acrylic overlay, and she can normally stretch hers out 3 weeks. Now, it's kind of hard to tell with this one, but you can see that she doesn't have a ton of growth. But she does have a little bit of lifting. I thought I would leave my filing in. Normally I don't. But I wanted to leave my filing in for this part because I wanted to, sorry, Grey's Anatomy is playing on the TV. I should just turn it off. I wanted to have you guys see how I work, like how quickly I work. And I guess I shouldn't say quickly because with an e-file especially, I'm using like a 4xc bit. So that means it's really, really, really coarse. As you can see, it takes down gel polish like it's nothing. But I really am careful with this bit because, like, yes, it speeds up how fast I file, and it has made a tremendous difference in my filing, as long as it's sharp. But that's the other thing, is that it has to be sharp. It is a safety bit. I really like it. I got it on Amazon. It's from Pana. And it does last quite a while. So right now I'm just going through and removing Ashley's gel polish from her acrylic overlay. She normally doesn't get just one solid color on her nails. I call her my kitchen sink client because she likes chromes and foils and encapsulated glitter sometimes, and like, all of her fingers are normally different. At least she picks a couple of different colors, and that wasn't what she did last time, so, but it was a nice kind of end of summery set. I think it's kind of hard to see because I don't have you guys zoomed in far enough, but she does have a little bit of lifting right around her cuticles, and that is pretty normal for her. Last time she didn't really have a whole lot of lifting, but it kind of depends on what she's doing and how much she's using her nails as tools. She works at a daycare. She works at the daycare I work at, so she does use her nails as tools sometimes, as much as I can tell my clients not to do it. Sometimes they do. So you just kind of have to move on, remove the lifting. And I don't know if this is, like, actually a thing, but I feel like people's nails, the people whose nails I do anyways, will get used to one kind of product, and then they won't have lifting. But if I switch products, even if it's from, like, a meh product to, like, a really good product, I don't know if it's that I have a learning curve with it, or, like, their nails just need a couple of times to adjust, but that's kind of what happened here. I had switched her over the last time to Young Nails instead of Exclusive Nail Couture, and she had just kind of started to not get really any lifting with Exclusive Nail Couture, or maybe it was I don't know. It almost seemed like, because I seemed like I was doing the same thing consistently. So, yeah. but I switched her over to Young Nails, and she did still get lifting, but sometimes I think it's just a learning curve with new products. So I also shorten the nail with this bit. I make sure to really have a good grasp on their hand, though. I always use the overhand grip when I'm using this bit, because then if I'm using that overhand grip, I can pull back their sidewalls a little bit. Even though it's a safety bit, it's still pretty sharp around the edges. Even if I was holding it at a certain angle, it could still nick their skin. And this baby can cut. Trust me, I've done it on myself and it's not fun. Plus, if I were to slip, there is a higher likelihood of me nicking myself than them. And it allows me to kind of move their finger as I need to, because sometimes clients can be, I have some who are very stiff clients, so I feel like I always have a death grip on them. Like, if they're stiff, I have a death grip on them. My mom is that way. Ashley is double jointed, so her fingers kind of move too much. I don't know, it's weird. But I always have that overhand grip. Plus, it's better for my wrist, and I just feel like it gives me more control. And that way, the client isn't like trying to peek over and see what you're doing and like backseat drive, kind of. Ashley doesn't really do that. She's a pretty good client. She's patient with me. She used to go to a salon to get her nails done, like a nail salon, and it's a, I want to say it's what people would call a chop shop. Alright, so that was a sanitizing spray. I'm going to start her prep. I'm pushing back her cuticles. This I sped up, so it looks like I'm being aggressive. Before I get back to explaining kind of how Ashley's past experiences with nails, I do want to note that she does have cuts on her skin on her ring and middle finger on this hand, but I did not do them. They were there before, and I think I might have hit like one with the file, and it didn't bleed, but it looked like it was starting to get agitated. If I hit it again, it probably would have bled, and it wasn't an e-file, but it didn't cut her. It was just my hand file when I was finished filing. But sometimes she does pick her skin, and I have that habit too, so yeah. I'm just going in with a diamond drill bit on forward, and I go from center to left side, and then I switch my e-file over to reverse, and I go from center to right side. I'm pushing back the cuticle further, and I'm getting any non-living cuticle, non-living tissue that is stuck onto the nail plate. Ashley's cuticles are pretty good, so I didn't have to go in a nip, which I appreciate. But Ashley had previously gone to what I call, or what she also calls, chop shops. And I'm just going in with a 150 grit hand file. Sometimes with clients, it just kind of depends on my mood. Sometimes I feel like it's faster to just do this with a hand file while I have it in my hand, rather than grab my e-file and do it with a sanding band. Plus, my sanding bands are 180 grits, and she tends to do better with 150 grit on her natural nail. And I'm not putting any pressure on it when I'm buffing over her natural nail, unless I'm buffing or filing the enhancement. But Ashley had gone to Chop Shop pretty much up until quarantine, and she was already in my bubble when we entered quarantine, so like she didn't really see anybody else. I didn't see anybody else, like I was obviously sanitizing my stuff, and I was seeing her every day, so she was in my social bubble anyways. And she had remembered, because we had just met not that long before, but we were pretty social with each other. She had remembered that I did nails, and she asked if I could do hers, because hers were in desperate need of a fill during quarantine. And I just remember her telling me some of the things that happened at her old nail salon. She said that there are people that she's talked to who have gone back not that long ago, like recently, like within the past like couple of months, and they have like gotten blood infections from this nail salon, and that's just really scary to me. She was explaining to me, she said, "Oh yeah, the lady who owns the place used to nick me all the time with the hand file," she said, "because it was so sharp." And I'm like, that's one of those things that could cause a serious problem if they're not disinfecting their implements and their, tools and stuff correctly, and, sanitizing and sterilizing their stuff correctly. But it takes like 5 seconds to score a file, and that could have been avoided. So I'm just checking the what to see whether the nails are straight or not. So I flip them around to Ashley's view, so I can see what she sees, and I just straighten them out. Especially with the way she holds her fingers, sometimes it's hard for me to tell. But the other thing that I think I was so floored at, I mean, I figured that they had probably charged. She said that she always usually got one color at that nail salon because they. This is Dehydrator from Exclusive Nail Couture. I'm going to do 2 coats of that, and then I'm going to protein bond 2 coats. But I had known that a lot of salons around here charge extra for extra colors, like past that first color. And really, that's common for many salons, so I wasn't super surprised. The thing I was really surprised at was that they charged her for a matte top coat. I don't know why they charged her for a matte top coat. Like, I was just kind of thinking, like, I know you need, that's a different kind of top coat you would have, but you have to put a top coat on when you're doing gel. Otherwise it'd be sticky, unless you remove the dispersion layer, but even then it's kind of matte. So, like, why would you, that just kind of boggled my mind. And she said half the time it would have shiny streaks in it. I tried to avoid that, so when she started coming to me, she was like super happy because I would do matte top coat for her, and I didn't charge her extra. So I'm going in with Young Nails Cover Pink to do her overlay. I'm working with a number 8 brush. As you can see, I am taking a bead and I set it down a little bit away from the cuticle so that I can push it back and make a barrier with my brush between the cuticle, the skin, and the product that I just set down, and I can kind of push it into place. And then the very tip of my brush, the very tippy top of my brush, acts as a barrier for me to be able to seal that cuticle really well with an e-file, as well as, but if you do it like this and get a really flush application to begin with, then you don't really have to worry. I love the speed of Young Nails cover powders. The cover powders are the medium setting powders, and they really allow me to like work around the cuticle and get it really nice and tight and flush, and the rest of the product just kind of runs really where it's supposed to be, and then I can just situate the rest of it once I'm done with the cuticle, because it's set up, but it's set up enough that it's more of like a clay consistency at that point, so it's not like I'm brushing it, constantly. So my application time has gotten much faster because I've used Young Nails and because the consistency is so good with Young Nails. They always say trust the run. So, yeah, I love working with it, and Ashley really likes this color. She's not much of a nude person. She likes color, but she does like the color of the powder. And it does well for her. Now, Ashley has pretty nice nails. She does like this tapered shape. I would probably like to do square on her. I feel like I'm taking all of her sidewalls when I do this tapered, almost short coffin shape, but she really likes it, and I kind of warn her. I'm like, well, you know, this might like affect how it adheres or how it, like, maybe it will break. And she's like, I don't care, it looks good. And I'm like, okay. And she's never like straight up broken a nail. I don't know. One time she did break a nail, like halfway across the middle, but it didn't take her nail with it. It was just a product. And I mean, she's had like pretty severe lifting a couple of times, but that's when she was like trying to like scrape something off of like something with her nail, like scrape something off of a plate with her nail, or she was moving and hit it, or, you know, something like that. Because, you know, enhancements and acrylics, they're not, you know, perfect. So, there's a sneak peek of the other hand. I would guess that I was waiting for the product to set up a little bit here and putting my e-file bit in. I should have cropped this out, but, you know, this video is only about 32 minutes, so that's not too long, I figure. What else was I gonna say? Oh, I'm like sticking my file there. This is the first time that I filmed somebody who wasn't like my family, so I was pretty excited about it. Ashley was super willing. She was really patient with me. I was happy. She thought it was kind of cool, so I really enjoyed doing this set. I like doing Ashley's nails. I like doing anybody's nails, really. I think I just wish that I could do more nails like I do on myself. Like, more of the, like, because Ashley's nails are short. I'm pretty sure there's no getting around that. Like, there's no debating of what her ideal length is, or what her length is classified as. It's short. So this is a medium grit flat top carbide bit, and it is from Exclusive Nail Couture. I've had it for a while, so it's probably less medium grit, but it still works pretty well. It's not one I always reach for, so like it's not super dulled down. That's why I kind of felt like working with. I think I took lifting off of the other hand with it, so I just kind of like stuck it. It just kind of kept it around. I'm just making sure I'm sealing that cuticle really well and contouring the surface of the nail. But my application is pretty good because of the young nail stuff. But I do kind of wish that I could do more nails on people that are like my style of nails, like colored acrylic and like medium length and like a lot of design. I love that. But, you know, you gotta go with what people want, and obviously long nails aren't for everybody. So that's why I wanted to show you guys like a fill. Like, when I say I do a fill, usually on myself I'm doing a redesign of some sort, and I'm always like taking my nails off and sculpting them back out again and like doing stuff for videos. But this is real world stuff. This is something that you would do if you were in salon or something. You know, this is what you would get. A client who wants gel polish, fill on her acrylics, and a little bit of art. Now, Ashley's nails are so short that they really don't need an apex, but I make sure there's a little bit of one in there anyways, and her nails almost have like a natural apex to them. She has very nice natural nails, but they curve down a little bit, like they grow out curved a little. So it just looks like her natural nail has an apex. It's really raised off of her finger, like more so than mine, I guess. Mine's really flat, hers is not. She'd be a really good candidate for hard gel, so I want to see if it works on her. I have Young Nails Synergy Gel coming in the mail, and I'm hoping that maybe next time she'd let me try it out. But if not, that's okay. But with Ashley's length, or nails of this length, you know, when you're filing off stuff, really you end up filing off most of the product, especially when it's grown out and you've shortened it. You only have 2/3 of the product, and then say, like, you have lifting, then you probably only have 1/3 of it. So now I'm just contouring the natural nail or not the natural nail, contouring, finish filing, and finishing my shaping a little bit with a 150 grit file. So I guess this is less of like a fill and it's more of a rebalance. But even so, this is what you would probably typically see in a salon. So I kind of wanted to try to vary, and I've tried to vary my videos up a little bit, as I mentioned in other ones. You know, I'm trying to branch out in the kinds of products I use. I have a girl coming in a few days for, I'm pretty sure it's probably just a gel polish manicure, and I'm going to ask if she wants to be filmed, because I think that that's a really common thing, that if you were like actually working in a salon and actually doing nails a lot, I'm sure there are some people in some areas who want the awesome, beautiful Instagram nails, you know, with all the art and stuff, but the reality is this is the kind of client you're going to end up getting. So I had finished filing her nails. I cleansed it. I'm probably going to protein bond here, a coat of protein bond. Oh, I know, I'm filing with a really skinny little carbide bit under her nail a little bit. It's called Beveling the Nail. Pretty sure that's what it's called. You just basically take off you use it for overlays. You take off the very, very tip of the natural nail on the overlay. You file it out from underneath, because then it's not going to curl away. It's less likely to curl away and lift from the free edge when it's growing out, which we don't want that. So, and it just makes it look a little less chunky. So now I'm going to protein bond. I'm going to be working primarily with Kiara Sky stuff today, but protein bond helps just adhere it. I did not buff my nails. I'm trying to get out of that. You want to, with protein bond, you want to leave a rough surface. So 150 grit is pretty much your sweet spot. That's what you're going to want to do. So now I'm using a base coat. I use base coat on all of my gel polish enhancements, even if they're like, you know, even if it's on acrylic or hard gel or what have it, and you don't really need gel polish, or you don't need a base coat on enhancements, because the gel polish will stick to it okay, like just fine. But I feel like it kind of fills in the grooves a little bit of the 150 grit file that I had just used to, you know, rough up the nail so that the gel polish application itself is smoother. So she's going to cure that in the light for about 30 seconds. And then she picked a couple of colors, and then we're going to do some stamping on her nails. So she picked Call It Cliche from Kiara Sky. So when I do gel polish, I like to like kind of pillow it back to the cuticle, and then I go down the left side, and I go down the right side, and usually it kind of gets the middle. I'll go in the middle if I have to, and then I'll like cap the free edge a little bit, and I cap the free edge not so that the product will stay, but especially with these darker colors or vibrant colors, you can tell when you don't cap the free edge, and I think it just looks better when you do. So she's getting Call It Cliche on her pinky, index, and thumb. I should have shaken it up in hindsight. I think I did shake it up after this, but we still did 3 coats of it. Kiara Sky gel polishes are pretty good, and they're thin, so like I don't really mind doing 3 coats because they're so thin. There's some that will definitely cover in 2 coats, and it's no problem, but yeah. And this nude color that I'm using is, I think it's Spin and Twirl from Kiara Sky. So I have it in dip powder, and I really like it. It's really pretty. It's kind of harder, oh, and then she's going to cure that. It's kind of harder to tell in the gel polish, but Spin and Twirl does have like a little bit of shimmer in it. I think that its coverage is pretty good in 2 coats. Personally, it's the one that's a little bit thicker. Color Cliche is a little on the thinner side, but Ashley wanted 3 coats. She's pretty picky about opacity of gel polish, but it doesn't really affect it, and I'd rather do 3 coats and have her be happy than 2 and have her be disappointed. So that's what we do. So I'm just going in with the 2nd coat of gel polish. You can see that I kind of like scrub it. It's not always stroking, especially when I'm back towards the cuticle. I almost scrub it into the cuticle. I don't know. It's just the kind of technique. It's like me baby pushing it into the cuticle, like teeny tiny little pushes, so I can butt it up right up against the cuticle. I feel like nudes are always hard with the cuticle because sometimes they just don't go the way you want. So she's gonna cure for 30 seconds in the light. See there, I just cleaned it up. That's a good piece of advice that I would give to people, is to always have a there's a little sneak peek of what you're gonna get. Always have a little like liner brush handy, even just when you're doing gel polish manicures. I also have like an angle brush that I use, and this is the 3rd coat on the Color Cliche nails, and then the middle finger for Spin It and Twirl. The angle brush will help if you like really big mess up, like you get a big mess up and you end up getting it on the skin or something. You can clean it up in just one swoosh, and it's pretty easy. But I like to have the liner brush because I like to be able to pull the color, and you don't even necessarily have to dip it into the gel polish. Sometimes you can just pull the color from around the cuticle and make it look more even or more like symmetrical. So yeah, that's just a little, I kind of want to say pro tip, but like I'm not a pro, so I don't really know what it is. So she's curing, and I think I might have had her cure for 60 seconds at that point. I have the Kiara Sky lamp, so pretty much any gel polish will cure in 30 seconds for the Kiara Sky lamp, but sometimes I put it in for 60 just in case. So right now, I'm going to remove the dispersion layer on the ring finger so we can stamp. And then I'm going to go in with a top coat on the rest of her nails so that I kind of get it out of the way and like she doesn't get like fuzzies in them or anything while I'm stamping. So I'm using a matte top coat. It's the Kiara Sky matte top coat. I really like it. It stays matte, and it's the best matte top coat I've ever used. I don't use matte top coats a whole lot on myself. I just personally don't like them very much. But it's a good top coat. The only complaint I have is that like the last one I had like straight up cured in the bottle, was not exposed to any kind of light at all. And I was like, what? And now I'm taking that liner brush and I'm just making sure that top coat is around the cuticles, because with matte top coats, you can really tell if you miss a spot around the cuticles and you don't get it around the cuticles. So I'm just making sure it's everywhere I need it to be. And I can kind of get into the cuticle better with that. But the last Kiara Sky matte top coat I had literally cured into a ball inside the bottle, and I couldn't use it anymore. So then I ordered another one. I think I ordered the second one off of Amazon, but I ordered the first one directly from Kiara Sky, so I was so confused. And I had used it one time on Ashley. She's like the only person I know who gets matte nails. And it was the time before this with the red. And when I went to use it on her other hand, the matte top coat, it was like cured in the brush. It was like the brush was hardened. And now luckily I have replacement brushes for Kiara Sky gel polishes or dip powders or anything like that. And I probably could have soaked it in acetone, but I was just like, why is it like, I don't understand. And it kind of makes me a little angry, but I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those bizarre things I'm never going to know the answer to. So I am stamping on her ring finger. I don't know if you saw it, but it's going to be camo. I'm using the CJP Clear Jelly Stamper plate. I think it's 87. I don't know. I'll have it linked. I don't remember the exact number. I know it's in the 80s, but it's called Bougie, and it has a camo stamp on it. The colors that it showed, like on the little swatch thing or the little paper, was like red and like burgundy and white, but you know, you can pretty much do camo any color. And camo is a very forgiving design because it's kind of supposed to look like it's a mess. So I believe I think I stamped dark, medium, light. You can pretty much stamp it in whatever order you want, but usually you would probably want to do dark, medium, light because you want the darkest to be in the background, and then you want the medium to be in the middle ground, and then the light to be in the foreground. I'm pretty sure that's art terms. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention much in art class, ironically. So I'm using an angle brush to just kind of clean up around the finger where I might have gotten some stamping polish. I believe the stamping polishes I got or I used were the brown was You Had Me at Chocolate from Clear Jelly Stamper. The green was Vintage Julep, and the gray was Stone Cold. So all of those will be linked down in the description. I'm top coating this with matte, and she cures for 30 seconds, and then she's pretty much done. Oh, I was cleaning the cuticle on the other one that I did too. So she's good to go. I am not a camo person, so I don't love camo, so I wasn't cuticle oil. I wasn't in love with the idea of these nails, but I really liked how they turned out. I don't know what she's gesturing to. Oh, I was probably doing cuticle oil on her other hand. But I think they turned out really well. She even had a camo shirt on. I was like, did you plan to wear camo and get camo nails? And she was like, no. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a subscribe. It really does mean the world to me so I can keep doing videos like this. Give this video a like, leave me a comment down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.